Now let's talk about IP version 4 and IP version 6. Now you'll hear these called IP4 and IP6 out there in the real world. You will see them mentioned on the exam. The question is how deep you'll see it, because in different situations with people who have taken this exam, they've seen different levels of exploration on these questions. So I'm going to talk about some generalities here, and then later on in the course, we'll take a look at configuring some IP version 6 technologies. Now let's talk about how we got here. IP4, as you probably already know, or TCP/IP, is the standard protocol for the internet. Now this protocol was developed in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Now if you can do some quick math, we're talking 30, 35 years ago. Well, there's been a few changes in technology in those years, and we're still living with some limitations that were built in. Now this initial design for TCP/IP simply didn't anticipate quite a few things. The first thing it didn't anticipate was the exponential growth of the internet. Nobody back then dreamed that the internet would turn into what it has turned into. When it was originally designed with TCP/IP or IP4, they created a protocol that offered just over 4 billion addresses. But 4 billion addresses looked like a lot when this was only used by a few academics and a few people in the military. Well, you know what's happened now. Everybody's on the internet, and every device is an internet device, and we're fast running out of available public IP addresses. Then there's a security problem. IP4 and 6 were built in a time when we still allowed our presidents to ride around in open vehicles and those sorts of things. We're within just a few years of that tragic situation. Support for quality of service. At that time, we only sent text, and we never dreamed that we would need to decide that certain traffic needed priority over other stuff like real-time delivery of data, video, making voice and video sync up, all those sorts of things that we use on the internet now. And then, of course, IP4 had no clue about the extensive routing needs that would appear in the near future. As a matter of fact, right now, thanks to IP4, internet backbones maintain over 85,000 routes in their routers, and so this is obviously problematic. So IP version 6 has been designed from the ground up based on how we use the internet, what we know about the internet, and it removes a lot of these limitations. Now, one of the main things that it does is it offers us a larger address space. Instead of using a 32-bit address space like IP version 4, IP6 uses 128 bits. Now, if you look at a regular IP4 address, notice what it looks like, 192.168.3.45. This is what an IP version 6 address looks like, and I'm not going to read it out to you. Now, these are absolutely designed to be machine-friendly, and there's a lot of functionalities, and you could even say complexities, built into this address. But it saves us a whole lot of headache and heartache, and offers a whole new set of functionalities for the way we're using the internet now. Now, the header format greatly simplifies routing and offers all kinds of functionalities to the routers just based on the format of the header that it sees. There's also built-in security. IPsec is built into IP version 6. The headers provide quality of service support automatically, and there's much better header extensibility. What happens in 5 years from now when some 13-year-old comes up with another great idea, but we need to change the header? Something else needs to happen to the header. We can extend it up to the size of the IP version 6 packet. So it's almost unlimited extensibility. Now, here's the good news on IP version 6. It solves most of IP4's limitations, and it's working right now. As a matter of fact, it's been working for the last couple of releases for all of Microsoft's products, server and client, but we're kind of slow trying to transition over into it. Now, here's the bad news. IP version 6 and IP version 4 are not compatible. They're going to have to function simultaneously until we finally get a total conversion over to IP version 6, and that's going to take a few years. Now, have a seat. Here's the really bad news. This is a quote right off Microsoft's website. The conversion from IP4 to IP6 will be a larger task for the industry than was the preparation for the year 2000. 6 is drastically different. Now, for this exam, you just need to understand that IP version 6 is out there, know how to recognize it, understand some of the basics about it. This is in no way an IP version 6 exam. However, I would strongly recommend that for your career, for this exam, for everything, go ahead and start reading and playing with IP version 6 and some of its conversion technologies. Now, we're going to talk about a couple of the conversion technologies in this course. We're going to talk about ISOTAP and Teredo, but we're going to just kind of hit the high level on it so you're ready for the exam. But you really owe it to yourself going forward to dig into IP version 6. Now, Microsoft has some great books out there. There's now a 3rd edition of IPv6. It's a Microsoft Press book, I believe. Great book, big blue one. Take a look at that. But you need to start kind of working through IP version 6 because it's coming to your network soon if it's not already there.